Good morning, dear students. Once again, we are back with the third online class. In the previous online classes, in the first and second, we had taken English grammar, figures of speech. I hope you must have understood the figures of speech with definitions, and I also hope that you must have solved the exercise given at the bottom of the content. Dear students, before starting with social science, I would like to tell you that all our videos have been uploaded on YouTube. I can see your thumb up. I want every children to share and subscribe all our videos. Today we are starting with social science. Before starting the topic, let me tell you that there are 4 sections in social science, or we can say that social science is divided into 4 different sections: history, geography, economics, and civics. In today's online class, we are taking lesson number 15, economic development. This lesson will be asked of 4 marks in the board examination. Dear students, you must be aware with the paper pattern of social science. We have first section, objective, wherein 16 objective questions are asked. Each contains 1 mark, followed by section B 2 marks, section C 3 marks, and section D 4 marks. This lesson will be asked of 4 marks in the exam. We don't know what is going on in the mind of the paper setter. But dear students, I want you to prepare this, or we can say all the lessons of social science thoroughly. Because from this lesson, the paper setter can ask 1 mark question and essay 3. When I say essay 3, it means short answer carrying 3 marks, wherein you have to write 6 points. Or the paper setter cannot ask objective question, but he can put EQ by 4 question, that is essay type long question containing 4 marks, wherein you will have to write 8 points. Let us start with the first lesson. Lesson number 15, economic development. Every person's morning, it starts in a different way. There are some people living in this world, they are living a luxurious life, whereas some other people in the world, or we can say maximum people in the world, they are living a life of poverty. These people, for them, physical pleasure, resting is an imagination. These people, they find it very difficult to derive their basic requirements such as food, clothing, shelter, education, transportation, health, and so on. In economics, these people are termed as poor people. Now the question arises, how has this situation originated? How to come out of this situation? Such questions have their answers. Before starting the lesson, economic development, we need to understand the term, what do you mean by economic development? Economic development is increase in national income of the country. In today's modern world, every country is trying to attain development. But we can say that development is not restricted to economic development only. It has social changes and many phases. As I said earlier, economic development means increase in national income of the country is known as economic development. Let us understand the definition point-wise. Constant increase in national income of a country. Number 2, increase in per capita income of the country. And number 3, change in lifestyle of the people. Change in living standard of the people of the country is termed as economic development. Now, what do you mean by national income? National income means total income of a country is known as national income. I am repeating, total income of a country is termed as national income of the country. What do you mean by per capita income? Per capita income or GDP, that is gross domestic product. It means dividing total income of the country with the total population of the country is known as per capita income. And the third one is living standard. Living standard, it means a person who can derive the basic requirements such as food, clothing, shelter, education, health, transportation, and so on. That is termed as living standard. Before independence, our national income, our per capita income was very low, and hence the living standard of our people was very low. But in today's modern world, in the present times, you can see that our country is a developing country, or we can say that we are on the verge of development. Our national income has gone up, and even the per capita income has increased. With this, today you will find a tremendous change in the lifestyle of the people. For example, in today's world, people, they can derive the basic requirements such as food, clothing, shelter, education, transportation, health, and so on very easily. And therefore, we can say that we are a developing country, or we are on the verge of development. We can see that India is a developing country, and on the other side, the economic development is increasing. Therefore, we can find all these features in our country. Now, the national income, that is GDP, as I said, gross domestic product, it was 87,36,039 in 2011 and 12. 2011 and 12. It was increased to 1,35,67,192 crores in 2015 and 16. Dear children, this figure is not given in the textbook, but I am telling you that at present, in 2020, GDP, that is gross domestic product of our country is $3.202 trillion. 1 trillion equal to 10 raised to 12. You can multiply 3.202 into 10 raised to 12, and whatever the price of dollar is, you will get the GDP of 2020. Now, let us come to another topic of economic development, and that is economic progress and economic development. In ordinary sense, if you look at these terms, economic progress and economic development, you will find that both these terms, they have the same meaning. But if you minutely look at these terms, you will find that there is a wide gap between both the terms. Let us understand what exactly is economic progress and what is economic development. My first point is on the basis of development process. I am repeating, on the basis of development process. Economic development is qualitative, whereas economic progress is quantitative. My second point is economic development is the first stage, whereas economic progress is the stage after economic development. My second point is according to changes taking place. New researches in economy, it means increase in production. With the research in the hybrid seed, in agricultural occupation, you can find the increase in agricultural production. And this is nothing but economic development. Increase in agricultural production with the increase in land, that is known as economic progress. My third point is in relation to developed and developing nation. In relation to developed and developing nations, increase in national income of developing countries is termed as economic development, whereas increase in national income of developed countries is termed as economic progress. Now, dear students, today I have explained two topics, that is economic development, national income, that is GDP, and economic progress, economic development. Now, from these two topics, the questions that can be asked in the exam: what do you mean by economic development? What do you mean by economic development? Number one, 1 mark. Write short note on economic development. Number two, difference between economic progress and economic development. Now, this question can be asked of 2 marks in the exam, or they can also ask definition or terms. Explain the terms economic development, economic progress of 1 mark. Dear students, our next topic is features of developing economy. When we say features of developing economy, in this topic, there are 9 different features that we are going to study in detail. Now, this question, you can take it as EQ by 4. Now, when I say EQ by 4, it means essay type questions carrying 4 marks. This is very, very important from this lesson, economic development. Now, let us understand the features of developing economy. As per the report of World Bank 2005, countries having per capita income less than $735, they are termed as developing countries, or we can say developing economy. Now, let us understand the features of developing economy. The first feature is less per capita income. The national income of the developing country is less. Even the per capita income, that is gross domestic product, of the developing country is less. For this reason, the living standard of the people of the developing country is very low compared to the developed countries. My second point is population growth. When we talk about population growth, the growth rate of population in developing countries is 2% or more. On one side, the per capita income is less. On the other side, the population growth rate is increasing by 2%. Hence, it becomes very difficult to look after each and every individual living in the country. This is one of the main features of the developing economy. The third one is dependence on agriculture. Most of the developing countries, they are involved into the primary occupation. Now, when I say primary occupation, it means the main primary occupation or primary activity of the people of our country is agriculture and mining. Around 60%, or we can say more than that, they are involved into agriculture as the main occupation. We can say that contribution in agricultural income, contribution in agricultural income is 26%. Hence, we can say that it is a developing economy. The reason is that more and more people, as I said, 60%, they are involved into primary occupation or primary activity. Number 4, unequal distribution of income. This is also one of the main features of developing economy. Now, when we say unequal distribution of income, it means if you compare the people living in the urban areas with the people living in rural areas, you will find that there is an unequal distribution of income. For example, 20% of the rich people living in cities or living in urban areas, they get 40% of national income, whereas 20% of poor people living in remote areas or in villages, they get only 10% of the national income. This is nothing but unequal distribution of income. And this is what we find in developing countries. With the unequal distribution of income in developing countries, we can see that the rich becomes richer and the poor people, they become more poorer. Next is unemployment. With the population of the developing countries increasing, it results into unemployment. We can say that more than 3% of the people living in developing countries today, they are unemployed. Moreover, we can come across with different types of unemployment. For example, industrial unemployment, seasonal unemployment, disguised unemployment. Moreover, the period of unemployment is too high in developing countries. A sixth feature is poverty. Now, when it comes to poverty, when I started the lesson, economic development, I gave you the definition of poor people. Poor people, they are not able to derive the basic requirements such as food, clothing, shelter, education, transportation, health facilities, and so on. And hence, these people are termed as poor people. With the rising in population and increase in unemployment, we can see that poverty, it increases in the country. So we can say that poverty is the main feature of developing economy. A seventh feature is dual economy. Now, dual economy, here you compare the people who are living in the city and the people who are living in remote villages. Even today, you will come across with the people or the farmers using old methods or using old tools for tilling the land. This results into less production. With less production in agriculture, the income also deteriorates. On the other side, there are industries in cities. There are factories in cities where the production, it rises up. So the people who are connected with industries or factories in city areas, their income is higher than the people who are connected with old method of equipment for tilling the land. This is dual economy. Insufficient infrastructure facilities, education, transportation, electricity, health facilities, banking, etc. even today are lacking in developing countries. This can be the main feature of developing economy. And the last one is form of international trade. As I said earlier, that the main occupation of the people of developing countries is agriculture and mining. People are involved into primary activities, and hence these people, they sell agro products to foreign countries. They sell mineral ores to foreign countries, with which they get a meager income from foreign countries. On the other side, we can say that the foreign countries or the developing countries, they export machines, technology, and so on. Therefore, in developing countries, the import, it turns out to be higher than the export. So, the developing countries, they become debtors. Therefore, we can say that it is not advisable for the developing countries to involve into foreign trade. We can find all these features in our country, and hence we can say that India is a developing country, or we can say that India is on the verge of development. My next topic is economic and non-economic activities. This question, it can be asked in two different ways. Number one, explain the term economic activities, or explain the term non-economic activities of 1 mark each. Or they can ask difference between economic and non-economic activities. Now, when we say economic activities, it means a person who is rendering his services, or a person who gains something by rendering the services, that is termed as economic activity. For example, a teacher, a doctor, a businessman, they are involved into different type of works for which they gain something, and that is known as economic activity. Non-economic activity means a person is rendering the services, a person is involved into the work, but he does not gain anything by rendering his or her services, and that is known as non-economic activity. For example, a mother nurturing her child, a person involved into social work, he does not get anything, and that is termed as non-economic activities. My next topic is primary sector, structure of Indian economy. This topic is very, very important, my dear students. The structure of Indian economy, we can say that it is divided into 3 sections. The first section is primary sector. Now, when I say primary sector, it means all the developing countries, they are involved into primary occupation. The main primary occupation of the people of our country is agriculture, mining, collecting farm products, and so on. The second one is secondary sector. When we say secondary sector, it means that small and large scale industries, factories, electricity, construction, water supply, etc. They fall into secondary activities. In short, we can say that people who are connected with the secondary activities or occupation, they are involved into making pin to gigantic machines. The third structure of Indian economy is service sector. In service sector, you will come across with trade, communication, airways, waterways, insurance, tourism, health facilities, and so on. With the increase in occupation, today you will find that more and more number of people involved into service sector. As we are a developing country, today the fashion or the taste or the trend of primary sector has deteriorated, and today more and more people have diverted towards secondary sector and service sector. This is the structure of Indian economy. Our next topic is factors of production. Once again, this topic, dear students, is very important as it can be asked of 4 marks in the exam. Write short note on factors of production, or 1 mark. Define land, capital, entrepreneurship, and labor. 1 mark each question can be asked in the exam. Let us understand factors of production. Now we know that production is done with natural resources and labor. I am repeating, production is done with natural resources and labor. Different types of tools are used in production. Now there are 4 factors of production. Number 1 is land, number 2 is capital, number 3 is labor, and number 4 is entrepreneurship. Let us understand these factors in detail. The first one is land. In normal sense, dear students, the upper layer of the surface of the earth is termed as land. But in terms of economy, different types of natural resources includes forests, rivers, mountains, minerals which are present in the interior of the earth, and metals that are present on the surface of the earth. They fall into land. My second topic is capital. Man-made instruments help in production process, such as instruments, tools, houses, etc. It can be related with either the capital or the assets. The third factor of production is labor. When we say labor, it means mental or physical work of a person is termed as labor, or people who are involved into mental and physical work, that is termed as labor. We can say that labor is the living factor of production. Can be a farm laborer, a laborer can be working either in factories or industries, and so on. And the last one is entrepreneurship. A person who efficiently combines the above 3 factors of production, that is land, capital, and labor, is termed as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a producer. entrepreneurs who are involved into profit-making process, and that is termed as entrepreneurship. Thank you, dear students. I have given the exercise at the end of the topic that I have done. Kindly do the exercise. See you again. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay at home.